Cheers. Hey, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Cole.
And this is Two Chill Reviews.
And this week we watched Fanboys.
Yes, I guess it's sort of a love letter to LucasArts. And
It's a love letter to fandom, really.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie was completely directed at me. I am a Trekkie, but I also love Star Wars.
How did you feel about the whole Star Wars versus Trekkie thing that they got?
Loved it.
You didn't feel like you were being having to be on one side or the other?
No.
My personal opinion was I don't know, I thought it was kind of meh. I do enjoy both Star Wars and Star Trek as well, but I don't know, as far as the writing goes, I thought a lot of it was just reference for the sake of reference. It's like I don't mind when references are used. It's just do something with that reference. Don't just throw it in there and just be like, hey, look, it's a reference. You know, that makes it funny, right? That's, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it, but overall I did enjoy it, but just not a crazy amount.
I understand what you're saying, and I feel like right now I am with just coming out of the theater, or like just coming out of watching it, I'm like, wow, I loved that. It was such an enjoyable experience. Looking back, I can see this not being a particular one I go back to or anything like that. So first I thought, oh hey, that's a really, isn't that the guy that was in This Is the End?
Right.
And I'm like, oh hey, that's Seth Rogen. I didn't know he did cameos in other people's movies. That was actually my thought when he first came on. I'm like, that doesn't. And then as it went on, I'm like, oh, this is all of these guys. Yeah, awesome! I love this team because I do. I love this group. They make a lot of movies that are directed in my demographic. There were a bunch of cameos that I loved in this.
There were a crazy amount of cameos.
Actually, with that, when we first turned it on, like when the movie first started, I did not know that this was Seth Rogen and all of his friends making it. I had no idea that any of them had anything to do with this.
But and then they got other Star Wars, like old actual Star Wars cameos from Carrie Fisher and Billy D. Williams. Yeah, Billy D. Williams.
And wasn't there one more? I keep feeling that like there was one more, but
I didn't recognize any other ones. Those were the two
I think it was just
out.
I actually never mind. I think it was just those two.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably going to be the only movie where, as far as I know, the only movie where an actor fights himself while representing both Trekkies and Warsies.
Yeah.
And yes, they're goddamn Trekkies. I was born and raised a Trekkie. I was really thrown up in the air about Kristen Bell's character. I can't quite decide if she's a strong enough character.
Well, I mean, she's only around for half of the movie, I guess.
She makes her mark.
She definitely does.
And I just don't know if she's too tropey, because I did feel a little bit like, oh, she's one of the guys, but also in love with, but also a girl.
I think that's one thing, though, is that the movie does get right. Is kind of Princess Leia's character was also written to be one of the guys, but while being a girl. That's, at least, that's the vibe I get when she's grabbing the gun from the guys and, telling me, oh, you're a bunch of pussies while she's shooting at the stormtroopers.
That is true.
So I figured, I kind of get the feeling.
They complete some great scenes, parodying directly Star Wars.
There wasn't really a lot of technical stuff going on. It was mostly just, it was a very low budget movie because for the most part it's really just...
They spent their entire budget on cameos.
Yeah. I mean, who knows how much they actually had to pay for that. I mean, there's a good chance a lot of them were just big Star Wars fans and wanted to be a part of this love letter.
Yeah.
But I guess the big thing is that's really what the movie is. It's not really trying to be anything more than just a bunch of guys saying we love Star Wars or like that kind of general thing. It's like it's awesome to be a fanboy or fan girl.
It's awesome to love something.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, I love how they portray the Trekkies or Trekkers. As like, I don't think I saw a single one that didn't. Maybe some in the background in a quick panning shot, but all of them seemed to have like, one of them would have a big nose and the other would have a huge like no neck, all chin, all these weird body types. When the Trekkies come into their comic book store really early on.
Oh,
and they have that the
phaser just to
pick them out.
Yeah, just so he can yell at them to get the fuck out of my shop.
Yeah, get off our land.
Or get off our land. Yeah.
I loved how they they really there was a lot of sand throwing and. Back in the heydays of those two, back in the 90s, that's kind of how it was.
Kind of how it was, yeah.
I hope that I feel a little bit more like today we live in a more amicable world, society.
Kinda, I guess. It really depends on which franchise.
It really depends whether or not you're on the internet.
That too.
But that characterization I found, you do have to go into these things, expecting everything to get poked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was a big poke, and it was hilarious.
Oh, actually, we could mention the surprise producer credit to Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah!
It's just like,
what the hell was that? Kevin Spacey, what are you doing?
That's the thing that really...
keep doing it, but what? I'm sorry?
Yeah, that was... That's definitely what's really stood out to me when I saw the movie. Or saw it on Netflix, was that it was produced by Kevin Spacey.
I just saw that it was about fanboys. Actually, when I first added it to my my Netflix list, I thought that it was a documentary on fanboys. And I'm like,
that would have been...
Yeah. Oh, he wants to watch fanboys. I guess that wasn't a documentary. And the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
One scene that I thought was particularly heart-touching was just the few, almost, just with that slight music score of Linus watching episode 1.
Right, yeah.
And seeing how he reacts, but not seeing, we have no idea what he's
what his actual
reacting
opinion.
to.
Yeah.
But the reactions are very, very small, so you really have no idea what he's seeing and thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But he has this look of wonder, and his only line referencing what he saw is Chewie. That's it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he meant by that.
Well, did they use that earlier in the movie as like their version of shotgunning the
they
the
did.
front passenger seat?
They did. So no, he didn't.
So-
He didn't. He said nothing about it.
But I guess in a way you could. Yeah. I guess not really.
He could have been saying that was
Yeah,
shit. Let's go home.
Yeah, and that could be the thing. Is like I call shotgun, and it's like let's just get the fuck out of here. But that's
Oh God! Oh God! Don't look at Mr. Lucas. Oh God!
yeah. That could be what he meant. But yeah, he does have a nice speech afterwards talking about the crappy effects, the puppets, and there's a third thing. But he's basically talking about. Yeah, most people will see Star Wars as just a movie, but for some it is really much. It's a lot more than that, and and I really get that. Like the original trilogy was something my parents introduced me to as a kid, and that's what got me into Star Wars. So I totally get that feeling as well.
I don't know if I've mentioned already my copy of William Shakespeare's Star Wars.
Oh, right.
Episode 4 that I got for Christmas.
How was it, anyways?
I loved it. It was amazing. I'm such a nerd. Don't edit that line out. The levels of blatant fan service that this movie stoops to. You have to kind of accept it going in. It's like, this is going to be
Just pure fan service.
just pure, and it just gets piled more on top of more on top of more, and it was lovable. I really have nothing else.
That's
Shall we end it?
yeah, pretty much.
How about the fact that Kirsten Dunst is hot? Or not
Or
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Bell is hot.
Sure, if you want to throw that in there as a.
She's hot. It's short.